welcome to our podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kaylee, and your other host is Ian.
Today we will be learning about the history of theater and some famous actors in history,
as well as talking about our own experiences in theater and our upcoming production.
Theater is one of the most favored forms of entertainment in history, and people have been enjoying dramas, comedies, and other forms of theater for over 2,000 years.
Greece was actually the first place to present productions. The work that Greece had with theater influenced the Mediterranean, Hellenistic, and Roman theater.
But the theater today is way different than compared to the past, because back in the day, the stories were mostly about religion and traditions. But today, we have a variety of types of storytelling.
During the Renaissance period, theater had sort of a downfall because the churches did not allow some performances, so some pieces got lost and will never be reformed. Or some of them did get performed in secret without the church knowing. But as the Middle Ages went on, the church was not as strict on theater.
Well, in America, melodrama was very popular in the 19th century, and one of the most popular melodramas was Uncle Tom's Cabin. In the 19th century is when Broadway first started in New York.
But Broadway only had around 500 seats, and that's nothing compared to the Global Theater, which has thousands of seats. The seats were very expensive and can be almost around $20 to $145.
And that's only a little background information about the history of theater, but we're going to move on to talking about one very famous writer, William Shakespeare.
Shakespeare is one of the most famous poets and writers out there. He is known as England's national poet, and his pieces that he has written are some of the most famous and performed pieces out there in history.
To this day, people still perform his pieces, and he has around 37 plays and a few collections of sonnets. Me and my host Kaylee actually did one of his plays together.
Oh yes, we did do one of his plays. We did Henry IV. I was Kate Percy.
And I was your husband, Henry Percy, also known as Hotspur.
And that was our first time performing together. But it was not our first time performing. My first time performing was a Shakespeare play, which was Romeo and Juliet.
My first play was also a Shakespeare play. It was Julius Caesar. I played Casca. I was in 4th grade at the time.
And this brings us to our next topic, which is our own experiences and why we started theater. My experiences in theater have been amazing because theater is just like one big family. And if you're down, then they will all come together to pick you back up.
My experiences in theater have also been amazing. I had so much fun doing The Wedding Singer, and I hope that I will have the same amazing experience doing the next play.
What got me into theater was my 7th grade year at OV, and at the time they were doing The Wedding Singer, the musical. They did this thing where the whole school would see a little bit of the performance. And seeing them up there dancing, acting, singing just made me want to do theater, and it inspired me to do theater.
I joined theater because growing up, my family and I would always go to see the musical at Walking Stick Theater. And we went to see these because my cousin Jacob Miner was in them. And seeing him up on stage, I said to myself then and there, I'm going to do that someday. And now I stand up on stage and try to impress my audience.
And now both me and Ian are proud members of Walking Stick Theater.
Speaking of Walking Stick Theater, we're right in the middle of a production right now. It's The Addams Family.
Yes, both Ian and I are doing The Addams Family. We both are ancestors.
We even have a special guest with us today. His name is Dylan Ladd. He plays Lurch, and we'll be asking him some questions about how the production is going.
So Dylan, how does it feel to be playing a lead in the musical?
So it was like, honestly, I was kind of disappointed at first, to be honest. Because I mean, by all means, Lurch is a great role, and I love it. I love it, but at the same time, I was kind of hoping that I'll get more of a talking bit, which honestly I kind of learned to love because of not being able to talk so much. Because Lurch has a lot of intricate little things, you have to kind of notice it, the way he holds his hands, he's hunched over, and especially the eyebrows and whatnot. It's very small, but really kind of builds the atmosphere in a way, which I really like.
So what's your experience like in this musical in the pandemic?
So, I'm assuming we're talking about the musical that we're doing currently, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, it wasn't as bad as I was like expecting, because now, unlike last year, we actually have more of a somewhat normalish like year, because we got to go in for actual live singing rehearsals and live dance rehearsals, which we weren't able to do last year. Which honestly, though some people actually like the kind of do-it-yourself type deal, I personally don't, because I get really anxious on camera. So honestly, going into auditions, it was okay. Kind of got done easily, and then when we actually got to practicing the scenes and whatnot, it kind of flowed well. And honestly, the mask situation is not too much of a concern, because let's be real, we've been wearing masks for about 2 years now. You gotta get used to it eventually, so you kind of work around it, I guess.
What would you say to people who would want to join theater?
Personally, the main reason I joined theater was my brother obviously did it a couple years before I did, so it kind of fell naturally. But I remember the thing I always saw is that how when you see the actors on the stage, they're just kind of in the moment, and I kind of also want to feel in the moment in a way, because it's also just a very accepting group of people. Like, there's so many different people in theater. Like, last year we had a guy who shaved his head and played the banjo. What is that about? I don't know, just anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. And trust me, you're gonna enjoy it when you do.
So in theater, we have a lot of fun times and some funny experiences. I remember 2 years ago was the best part of the practice was during a scene where I had to go up and dance with someone. I didn't really know what to do, so I ran up to her, went down on one knee, and I fake proposed to her, and it was really funny, and I had a good laugh.
Yeah, probably actually another one during the Wedding Singer was I remember during the bar mitzvah scene. I was okay during the dances. Like, I could do the dances fine, but it was more I struggle with the facial expression, because obviously in theater you're told to smile, like look happy, which I mean at the time I thought it was, but looking back at like the videos and pictures from that musical, I had like a stone cold face, like someone just punched me in the gut and I just like stared.
Yes.
I was just aggressive.
My fun experience in theater would probably have to be my first production when it was called How to Kiss a Girl, and I was so nervous. When we were reading the script, I had no idea what was going to go on. I had no idea. And so we were reading it, and then as soon as we got to the ending, when it said at the end that we kissed, I just sat there, and my face was so red that they literally had to come check on me to make sure that I was okay, because I was so nervous what the heck was going to go on, because it was my first production ever being in something, and it was just, that was my funny experience in theater.
Thank you, Dylan, for coming and answering some of these questions, and I hope the viewers found it insightful.
So theater has certainly been around for many years, and to this day, we still perform famous plays by famous people in history.
We hope that all the viewers have learned something or got something out of this podcast from our own experiences or by the facts we have presented to you today. This is both Kaylee and Ian signing off.